All right, folks. So glad you can join me. We did our dipping, our weaving and ducking out of the way, or slips, which we're generally calling bobbing and weaving. That's the tradition. So here we're going to do basic drills, touching on the bobbing and weaving. So we're going to be throwing some punches and some kicks too. Probably just stick with the front kicks, nothing too massive or whatever. But the whole point here is to work on our evasive maneuvers, drills that are working on us avoiding punches, specifically regarding our bobbing and weaving, our dipping and slipping and weaving. So if you have some kind of object in front of you, some kind of pole, anything that can help you get a visual, you can hang a piece of tape temporary from your ceiling or from the archway of your doorway or whatever, or something like that, so that you can kind of visualize a rotation around it. This is going to help us with the drills, especially if you're just starting out. Without a doubt, in my career, it's way easier for me to teach and to get people punching and kicking than it is to get them fluid and to break that rigidness and that stiffness, to break that mold or increase their fluidity. So that's what you see here with our introduction, and what I'm showing you is during the process of the weave and stuff, you see you could take all little micro steps. So it doesn't have to be like one big glide that oftentimes you may see me do. I do both and stuff, but I can big glide because I have long legs, I suppose, or I mean, ultimately that doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong, and there's usually a whole bunch of choices and stuff. But when you're starting out, or you know what, forget even just starting out, it's great to learn the large step glides, your little hop skips across and scuffles across, and also your micro steps and stuff. Micro steps are great because they allow you to occupy a good solid position or a good balance through your movement across. Glides and stuff like that, they may be faster, they may be more sudden, but you may have more of a range of a bad moment in that glide, in that position. Like at max extension toward the beginning, you may be very wide and stuff. So if you get caught there, you can't really break out of that position well. And then when you finish, or at some other point, you may be very narrow. Who knows? Stuff like that, right? So, right, here we are, and what we're doing here is, don't worry too much about the punches and the kicks and stuff. We're going to probably stick mostly to the jab and cross and stuff like that, simplified. And we'll probably stick mostly to the front kick. I think toward the end of our session today, I do some roundhouse kicks and stuff. But the point is, find your center line, find that vision that's in front of you, right? And you're going to keep that. Imagine that target is staying stationary for now, because we want to work on being able to rotate around that target. All right, it doesn't matter if you can imagine the target changing a little to face you, but the point is, I don't want you to do a whole evasive maneuver and then punch to a new area, because that's kind of treating it like you didn't really just change. So imagine you and the opponent both weaved in the same direction. So then your center lines toward each other remain constant and stuff. So that's not what we're kind of practicing and training in these drills. That there is a training to that as well. But the whole point is, even if your opponent is following you, at some point we want to rotate around. We want to change our angle to our opponent for a bunch of advantages, not only in defense but also for offense as well. So remember the dips and the slips, remember the weaving and stuff, okay? So emphasizing here in our drills, okay, keep that hand guard up. and focus on really good stepping and stuff. Generally speaking, try not to cross over your feet too much, especially in the beginning. Definitely learn some good basics as well, so that you're keeping a good balance and stuff through the movements. And what I'm showing you here is how you can rotate. So what you should be doing is, you're looking at all parts, but take some time right now to extra look at my feet and see what my feet are doing. There's just so one foot, you're sort of shifting your weight so that your one foot can pivot while the other foot glides around. All right, you can do them in small little amounts, and you can do them in big amounts, changing to 90 degrees and changing 180 degrees, and basically just about face type thing. See that step, and then the back foot follows. Now, if we're going back, notice how my back foot did the movement and stuff. That's basic textbook good stance stuff. I don't always do it. Nobody always does it and stuff. But you make sure that you do have the skill level and have that foundation and stuff. Notice how the stepping also involved a shuffle. There can be all combinations of that. You can do very defined type of stepping and stuff. It can be, or you can scrape across. The weaving part, the ducking, can be dipping forward. It can be dipping to the sides, and all of the versions of that, right? So what is that drill? Some kind of punch and some kind of weave out of the way, right? Stay within that new spot, and generally speaking, I want you to punch and then weave back. That's your drill, back and forth, all right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to start playing with the angle a little bit more. So see, even here, I'm playing with the angle. It's a little bit tricky and stuff because sometimes I look at the camera and sometimes I'm looking away from the camera, so that my center line is a little bit, and maybe I might forget, and so I go back and forth. But the point here is that right now, if I'm center lined up with you, see there, I'm sort of like a 45. That's a 45 from the camera, from my center line. That's what you're doing. Ultimately, there's no right and wrong. There's no right and wrong to the angles, and you're not really counting. If you wanted to do 20 degrees, 30 degrees, right? Now, here comes some more drills, right? So what we're doing is we're adding our, little dips. We're adding our dips in, okay? And weave to get back to our position. The point here is not to just completely just straighten up or rise, or think that you did one dip or you did one slip and everything is great, and now you can just, stand upright with your chin bellowing out and all that great stuff. So from the dip, a weave. So you can practice the dipping, you can practice, the slip, and then the weave in place, or you can also practice the dip and then weave and allow the weaving motion or your side stepping motion to help you with the weave, or allow the weave to help you with the side stepping, with the changing of your position and or your angle. All right. So what are we doing here? So we're doing jabs. We're still working the drill. We're doing jabs, and then we're slipping. So we're doing a dip, and then we're doing a weave, and we're doing a front kick. All right. Please excuse all the wind and stuff like that. It became a very windy day and a bit stormy. So So I'm slowed it down a little bit so that we can see the drill. That we're not going to do 1,000 drills, and we're going to do all versions of these drills, so you can mix and match too. Eventually, it's going to be really cool and fun for you. You'll get the hang of it, and you'll be able to mix and match your own types and stuff, right? So, jab, dip, weave, and the front kick. So, right? I said you can make this up. You know, I mean, these are all drills that I do, but only like there's a core that I can say are like the blueprint. It's not like every single drill that I show you is something I have written down. And there's no need to write it down. Obviously, you have a rear and you have an instant kick, and you're going to alternate your stances, and so whatever is your rear becomes your instant, and you're going to mix and match with them, and you're going to go high and you're going to go low and stuff. Don't always do them hard. Do them slow. Doing them slow, people always want to go fast, and fast is cool too. But going slow is disciplined, and oftentimes it's extra hard because you need to have good strength and balance. You need to have good core strength to be able to do the move very slowly. So that certainly is a technique, and it's certainly worth practicing. You're putting money in the bank when you practice all of this stuff that you see me doing right now, slow. I have done them slow. And you're going to shake, you're going to quiver, you're going to lose your balance, but you keep practicing them. Have a prop so that you can hold on to it, and keep practicing them, because it will actually improve you going fast. All right, so all we're really doing here is we're just giving ourselves an opportunity to mix and match our instant lead kick and our rear kick. So what we're doing is we're slipping and weaving in place, and then throwing probably the rear, and then we're going to slip and weave into a new position, and then throw the instant kick. And maybe an idea behind that is because you should always spend a little bit of time visualizing, not just visualizing, but understanding why and stuff. So imagine you're a little bit in close, especially if you're weaving and dipping, slipping a punch. Your opponent is probably close to some degree. So you throw that rear kick, you know, trying to get that power in or whatnot, and you hit your opponent, or naturally your opponent moves out of the way while throwing kicks or something at you. So you slip and you weave and you move to a new position, which is probably to maintain, you know, a good distance from your opponent's move. But now you throw the instant kick because you're at a different distance, and the instant kick is going to be a little bit closer, or maybe surprise, or just generally speaking, you're mixing it up. Cool? Okay, now we're going to talk about a little bit of a detail here that I'm showing you. Feel your body motions, feel the leverages and the balances within your body. The dipping and the weaving is naturally putting you in some kind of chambered position. It's naturally eating up a leverage in one side, but opening up a leverage and flow, kinetic energy potential in another side. So as you're weaving and moving in that direction and whatnot, okay, attach a kick to it or attach a punch to it. Ride that momentum and force, and that's what I'm showing you. There we go. So let's work on that concept that I just said. See how the dipping out of the way is tilting our body into sort of a natural or a more readily chambered body position to, you know, ride that kick with it. and stuff, or it's even a way to mask the kick. Because if you didn't have all that motion, and let's say the whole point was to just throw the kick, and you dip down that much to throw the kick, well, it's a little bit like maybe telegraphing the kick, right? Oh, hey, and by the way, we're doing roundhouse kicks now. FYI. Right? So you see that. You see how I'm showing here? We're getting out of the way. We're slipping, and that slip and that dipping in one direction opens up the leverage and flow for that other side where we ride the kick out on it. Now, another little cool detail to our drills, and still very good, still very fine for, basic stuff or whatever, but we're working with our movement and stuff, but the movement is sort of like, you see, a little bit going backwards a little bit, so your rise back up from it is back into your stance or position, is creating that leverage like that chamber, like we said when we were dipping. The difference is you can dip forward. The dipping forward one was like advancing and creating and riding and attaching the kick through the advance. But you could also get out of the way of a strike or an attack by dipping backwards or retreating, sort of. And also open up a side where you can throw a kick for that. And then, of course, there's ones where you stand your ground, but the creating the opening and the leverage to ride the kick occur laterally. So if you're dipping laterally left, then your right side may be a lot easier to fly out a kick. Well, folks, that's it. So we run through the drills, but I do want to make sure to point out that you could literally just do the 14, 15 minutes or plus right along with this, or these are just all examples to just get you fluent with the process, and then you can stretch it into another 15 minutes for a half an hour or 45 or an hour and stuff. It's on you, and I'll see you guys very soon, and love you very much.